Hey guys, Neely here, and I am coming in for my 7 week update. I am 7 weeks pregnant today, and things are still going really well. I'm still feeling really good. I'll talk a little bit about any symptoms first. Um, so far, so good on the morning sickness thing. I have not really had any. Yesterday, I kind of was feeling some twinges, and I was like, "Oh no, is this it? Is it starting?" And I just felt a little bit off for a little bit of the day, and then it went away. So that was it. And I don't know, could have been all in my head or whatever. I don't know. But then today, I felt just fine. So things are good on that front. I'm keep crossing my fingers, hoping that I might be able to bypass it this time, but like I said before, it does start a little bit later for me usually, so it still could be coming. Um, my appetite, I talked to you about that the last couple times, and actually it has returned kind of to normal where I can eat regular sized meals and I don't get so hungry so quickly. So that's kind of changed, and it's kind of nice just to be back on a normal meal schedule. I have had some cravings I told you about last week, craving seaweed. It had just started last week, and that went on for like 3 or 4 days. And I was eating the seaweed snacks, like multiple packages a day, and that's kind of subsided. I don't really, it's not like I don't like them anymore or anything. It's just that I haven't been craving them and wanting to eat them every single meal. But that was really bizarre. Never craved seaweed before, so that was definitely interesting. Um, Yesterday I was cooking and I was making a few different things that included like sauteed bacon and sauteed onions together, and so it smelled really, really good. And I was cooking for a long time and I made a whole bunch of stuff, and at the end of it I was like, none of this really sounds good. And the only thing that sounded good was a fat stripping frappa from the THM book. So I made one of those and it like tasted like the most amazing thing I'd ever had. So I think that was kind of a weird pregnancy taste thing going on, but I'm definitely going to be having those more because it was really good. And I hadn't had one in a while since the weather had changed, and it's not as warm as it was. So a cold frozen smoothie isn't the best thing, but it sure tasted good yesterday. So I guess I'll just make sure to turn the heater up and enjoy my smoothie. Um, Beyond that, my other symptom that I have is waking up to pee in the middle of the night multiple times. People often think that when you're pregnant, you have to pee more often because the baby's pushing on your bladder, which is definitely true in the later stages. But I'm pretty sure that there's more to it than that, and that in the earlier stages, you have to pee more often. And I'm not really sure exactly why. But even though the baby's only probably an almond size by now, um, it's not pushing on my bladder yet, I don't think, but it's still, I still have to pee multiple times a night. Sometimes I'll make it through with just getting up once, but other times it'll be like midnight or 1 o'clock and then 3 or 4. And yeah, luckily I've been able to go back to sleep really easily, so that's good, but it's just annoying to have to get up in the middle of the night. But it's what you gotta do, and it's good practice for when you have a newborn and you got to get up in the middle of the night anyway, so just going with it. Let's see. Next thing was I am having my first prenatal appointment a week from today, and I'm going back to the same place that I had my last two babies. It's a water birth center, and they have midwives there. And the way that it works is that they assign you two midwives, and one's kind of your main midwife, and then the other one's kind of a backup just in case the first one isn't available when you go into labor. And sadly, the lady who was my main midwife for my last two babies is no longer with this water birth center. And that was really disappointing because I really liked her a lot. And she has gone on to do just like her own practice, her own home births and stuff. And I thought for a minute about trying to just do a home birth with her, and I really would like to see her again, but I really love the water birth center that I have gone to, and it's just such a good experience. Some people really like the home birth where you get to stay home and be in the comfort of your own home, but there's something to me about going somewhere else that someone else's responsibility and just getting taken care of that I really like. And people cooking for you and just taking care of you, and not having to worry about all the home stuff. So I really like the going to the birth center rather than being at home. So I decided just to go ahead with the same water birth center, and my main midwife is going to be um, one of the ladies that was my second midwife on two babies ago. So I do know her really well because you see each midwife every other month for your appointments. So I did get to know her really well, and we've been friends on Facebook for a long time. And so I really like her, and I feel very comfortable with her. So I'm glad about that. And then I will be assigned a second midwife that I have not met probably. Um, so I will get to meet her probably in a month or so. And I'm looking forward to that. It's always fun. The birth center is really nice. It's like a bed and breakfast. They have these bedrooms that are all, differently decorated and really pretty, really homey feel. And it's just a really nice experience. It's um, a lot nicer to me than my first pregnancy with just a regular doctor in a regular hospital. And not that there's anything wrong with that or anything. It's just gives more of a homey vibe and everything than going into a doctor's office. So I'm happy about that. Looking forward to that next week. So I'll tell you more about that next week after I have my appointment, and that'll be 8 weeks by then. Let's see. So the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about today was some dietary plans. And you guys know that I'm on THM, and I'm still doing that, still planning to keep with that. It's going really well for me, and I really like it, so no reason to change that. The only thing that I'm going to tweak is I'm going to be leaning towards a paleo pregnancy, a THM paleo type diet. And reasons for that are I feel really well doing paleo, and I feel like it's good for my digestion, it's good for my overall health, my energy, and of course in this time when energy and feeling good can be hard to come by, I want to do everything I can to keep what I can of the energy and everything. So I think just to play it safe, I'm going to do more paleo. I let's see. With THM, I have incorporated a lot more dairy than I used to when I was more strictly paleo. And I have even incorporated some grains like sourdough breads and rice and a few different things like that. And so I'm going to be slowly cutting those out. I'm kind of done with really hard and fast rules where I go from eating one way to eating a completely different way the next day, because that's very diety in my mind. And when I do that, it feels more like deprivation, and it just makes it more likely that it's gonna backfire on me, and I'm gonna end up, eating more of those foods in the long run. So what I find works really well for me is just to make changes slowly, and that just means, slowly finishing up whatever food is in the fridge that I've already made, and just kind of not buying the stuff anymore. And then gradually, as stuff gets finished, I move on and start working on other recipes, and don't end up um, eating those things that I want to cut back on. So it's not like I throw out everything in the fridge that has whatever ingredient, and I'm never going to eat that again, and starting 100% the very next day. I can't do that. And it's just not good for me. So I just have stopped buying yogurt. That's one big dairy that I've been eating. Just stopped buying it. We used up what we had. No big deal. Also, stop making bread, unless I make some for my family, and then I'll make it specifically a type of bread that they eat that I don't eat or whatever, which makes it easier for me just to not deal with it. Like I make hot dog wraps with the sourdough dough and wrap it around the hot dog and bake it, and I don't eat those. It's not really tempting to me, so I don't have a problem making those for them and then not eating it. But if I make just like a loaf of bread or whatever, then I'll want to eat it, because that's what I've been doing. So just to get out of the habit of it, just stop making those things and work on other recipes. So I'm going to be working on that. It's going to be kind of a slow process. I'm definitely not 100% yet. The only thing as far as paleo that I'm open to keeping in is the beans. Paleo is no beans, no legumes. And since I have read that they can help with morning sickness because of the soluble fiber, I am definitely open to keeping those in if morning sickness flares up for me, and I definitely will try that. But as if morning sickness doesn't come, then I have no reason to add the beans in unless I'm really craving them or something. But yeah, that's the only thing. As far as dairy, I am going to keep in heavy cream and butter, which seem to do well for me. Grains, I may keep in some rice because white rice is a paleo-ish safe starch, they call it. So if I feel like I need carbs, I may add in the rice, especially because it's so cheap. So it's a good starch source if I need it. But mostly going to be focusing on like potatoes and sweet potatoes and squash and stuff like that for my carbs in my emails. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep it as paleo as I can. And oh, the other thing that I wanted to say is, as far as why I want to do that is for 2 pregnancies ago with my second daughter, I after my pregnancy, my skin issues flared up really bad, and I got a nasty red rash all over my face. And it was on my face for a long time, which was really bad, and just itchy and unsightly. And if you guys have watched me for several years, you may remember that. And I went through a lot of things trying to figure out what it was. I thought it might have been a stevia allergy. It wasn't that. Finally, it left my face, but it went to my arm, and it stayed on my arm for probably 2 years, and I did everything I possibly could to get rid of it, and I never was able to get rid of it with any natural remedies. And just probably 6 or 8 months ago, I finally got a steroid cream and used that for a couple of weeks, and it went away, and it hasn't come back, and it hasn't moved anywhere else on my body. So I feel like it's taken care of. I didn't just mask the symptoms and have it come back somewhere else. It's gone now, which is really good. But anyways, after pregnancies, conditions like that can flare really bad because of how your immune system changes through your pregnancy, and then once you're finished with your pregnancy. So I really want to try to avoid as much as possible any flares with my skin problems. And with my last daughter, I did do very strict paleo for my last trimester and a little while after she was born. And I did have a flare of some skin problems, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was with my second daughter. So I do have some experience, and I know that controlling my diet and eating super clean stuff that's really good for my gut and for my immune system, that it will pay off in the end. So I'm definitely leaning that direction, and hoping that if I'm really strict and eat really healthy for the whole pregnancy, maybe I can really avoid the flare afterwards, which would be wonderful. So that's what I'm doing. I'm already at 13 minutes, and I think that's all I wanted to tell you. I'm going to try to do a tummy shot here in a minute. It's not that big yet. I'm only 7 weeks, but it is my fourth, so I am popping out a lot quicker than the others. So I guess I'll just stand up and try to do it right here if I can. Um, got my jammy pants on, but basically just my tummy isn't flat, which it never really is completely flat, but just sticking out just a little bit. Anyways, not much to see there, but pretty soon there will be. So there you go. Bye, guys.